Hi everyone. In previous session, we have seen about some actions of mouse. For example, hover action, double click action, right click action. Today we will see about how to perform drag and drop operation by using Playwright commands. So let me show you one website to demonstrate our use case of drag and drop. So I'm just opening this website. On this website, if you see, there are some options on this left panel and there are some options in right panel. So if I simply drag this option to spin, it will be highlighted by green. So this is called as a drag and drop. So this Madrid is our source element and we are capturing this source element. We are clicking on the element and after that we are dragging this element to spin box. Similarly, let's say Washington. I want to perform drag and drop operation. So when you perform drag and drop operation in correct country, then it will get highlighted by green color. So Washington, I want to drop in United States box. So I want to drag this source element to United States is a target element. So this is called as a drag and drop operation. So dragging the source element into target element. So we are dragging source element into target element. So there are total two elements are involved. Source element which is Washington, target element which is United States. So this is the box which is target element. This is the box which is source element. And I want to perform drag and drop operation. So when you do manually, how do we perform this action? You just go to Washington, you hover on this. After hovering on this source element, you press the down key of your mouse. So you simply press down key of your mouse. Then you drag this option without releasing the down key up to this target element. So you just hover on target element now. And after that you release the dropped key. So you just release the down key. You basically perform up action on the mouse key. And as soon as you perform the up action, that element gets dropped into target element. So let's see in Playwright how we can perform this drag and drop operation. So there are two approaches by which we can perform drag and drop. So I will show you both the approaches by which we can perform drag and drop operation. So let's go to Visual Studio Code. In this Visual Studio Code, I am creating a new file. Let's name it as drag and drop demo.spec.js. So we have created a file. Let me just rename it. So this is the file name, that is drag underscore drop demo.spec.js. After creating this file, let me quickly add this test block. Here we have to pass the name of the test case. So I am just naming it as drag drop demo. So we have test and expect which are imported from Playwright test. We have created one test block. We have used a sync keyword. And now I want to open the URL. So let's use await page dot go to. Which URL we want to open? So this is the URL which I want to open. So I am just passing this URL in the page.goto method. Inside this method, I am just passing that URL. So it will launch and open this web page. After opening this web page, we have to capture two elements. As I said earlier, we have to capture two elements. First one is source element and another one is target element. So we have to capture source and target element. So I am just naming it as, let's say, one first constant as source element and another constant as target element. So what is the source element? So let's say I want to use this Washington as source element, which I want to drop to United States as a target element. So let's try to inspect locator for Washington, which is a source element. So it is having ID equals to box 3. So this is the ID. So I can simply use by using hash and value of ID. So when you use this XPath, not XPath, but this is called as a ID. So this is direct ID which we are using. It is highlighting Washington. So I am just copying this ID. Let's put it. This is our source element. So await page dot locator. In this I am passing that ID. And then we have to also capture the target element. So await page dot locator method, in which we have to capture the ID or any locator which we can capture. So I want to use this is as a target element on which we want to drop the source element. So for this, if you see, ID equals to box 103. So I am just using this ID and I am pasting that locator here. So we have source element, we have target element. Now what is the action we want to perform? Drag and drop. So this is our first approach. So I am just naming it as, let's say, approach 1. So we have one method by which we can directly drag and drop that element. So that method is, first we have to use await source is our source element, drag to. So this is the method, drag to method, and then we have to pass target element. So we are dragging this source element to this target element. So that is the command which we want to use. And after that we have to simply give some timeout so that we will be able to see that drag and drop for some time, let's say 3 seconds. Let's save this file. So this is the first approach. We have captured the source element, we have captured target element. So this is our source element, this is our target element, and then we have used source element dot drag to method, and in which we have to pass target element. So this will drag and drop that source element onto target element. So let's execute this file. So what is the file name we have to provide here? Drag underscore drop underscore demo dot spec.js, that is the file name, and let's execute this file. So it should perform drag and drop operation on that Washington as a source element and United States as a target element. So it should perform drag and drop method. We have to use dot drag to method. So we have used first approach in which we have to use dot drag to method. So let's see, there is some error. Okay, there is small spelling mistake which we have done. Let me just correct that. So drag drop underscore demo.spec.js. So now let's execute this file. So it will launch the web page. It will launch the web page. It will open that URL. After opening that URL, I think there is some more mistake. Drag, acha, okay. So we have made one more small mistake. So what is the file name here? Drag underscore drog. Okay, so let me give you that name only then, or we can simply rename this file. Let's rename this file drag underscore drop demo. So let me add. Okay, so now we have added. Let's execute this file one more time. This time it should execute. So it will launch the web page now. So it will start the test case. It will open that URL. It is opening that URL and it should perform drag and drop operation. So if you see now, it should perform dragging of Washington to United States, which happened correctly. So this is how we can perform drag and drop operation. So this was first approach. So what we have seen is we have used first approach. So whatever manual action we have to do, that is hovering on the first element, that is the source element. Then you have to press left mouse button. Then you have to move mouse to the element that will receive the drop, and then we release the mouse button. So all these actions are covered inside this dot drag to method. Now there is another way or another approach in which we can perform drag and drop as well. So let me show you that option as well. So if you want to precise control over the drag and drop operation, we can also perform like manual. For example, you have to capture the source element. Then you have to use dot hover method. It will hover on the source element. Then we can use page dot mouse dot down method, which will perform down key of mouse. Then it will go to, again we have to hover on target element, and then we have to use page dot mouse dot up method, which will release the mouse, and it will eventually perform drag and drop operation. So let me show you practically again. So I am just using test dot skip here. I am just copying this. I am just creating one more method here for approach 2. So now we will see the approach 2 of drag and drop. So this is, again we are going to open the same web page. After opening the web page, again we have to capture the source element and target element that we have already captured here. So we are opening this URL. This is the URL. It will be launched. We are capturing source element. We are capturing target element. Now the next step is we are using await page dot, not page dot, but first we have to hover on the source element. So I'm just using await source element dot hover method. So this will hover on the source element. Then we have to use await page dot mouse. We have to press down key of the mouse, and after that we have to again hover on target element. So await target dot hover, and after hovering on the target element, next step is we have to release that down key. So we have to simply use page dot mouse dot up key. So it will release the down key which we have done on source element. So this 4th step will perform drag and drop. First it will hover on the source element, it will press down key, it will go to target element, it will release the down key. So eventually it will perform the drag and drop operation. So this is the second approach. So let me just remove this dot skip. This is for approach 2. I am removing this dot skip. Let's save this file. And now let's execute this file. So this time it will perform drag and drop by using second approach, because previous test case we have already used dot skip, so it will not be executed. Next one will be executed. This one will be executed. So it should perform drag and drop operation by second approach. So it is launching the web page. It is opening the web page. And now it should perform drag and drop. It should drag this Washington on United States. If you see, that is correctly worked. So these are the two approaches by which we can perform drag and drop operation on elements. So there is always a source element and there is a target element. So we can perform dot drag to method directly, or we can use second approach in which we can manually drag the options by using combination of hover and down, hover and up. So that is about drag and drop mouse actions in Playwright. In next session, we will see some more interesting topics of Playwright with JavaScript.